BMW has replaced the former 335i with this, the 340i. The biggest change you'll notice, or rather the biggest change you won't notice, lies under the bonnet, as this new car hides BMW's B58 six-cylinder turbo engine, which replaces the former N55 unit, which the German manufacturer used in a whole slew of models. This engine is the same as the one found under the bonnet of the smaller M140i, only here it's been slightly detuned to make 326 horsepower and 450 Nm torque. One point where this and the smaller 140i are very similar is in the fact that they are both dominated by their engines. I've driven other BMWs with diesels and three-cylinder engines, and then it's more about the handling, the chassis, the balance, the steering. But here, I'm gonna die! And if it's equipped with xDrive like this car is, you won't see much of its tail hanging out, but it will grip like there's no tomorrow. This is a car you can really drive in anger, and it will calm you down. It allows you to be brutish, yet still kind of safe. And it allows you to vent your negative energies. You should obviously do it on a track where you can beat on it, knowing full well that you have runoff areas and there's nothing to crash into. But if you have a small mountain road that is hardly ever crossed by any cars, you might as well. I mean, the speed limit here is 90 kph. Try achieving that. I can't. This car is hugely confidence-inspiring. Can just chuck it in and let it do the work for you. The best thing about this engine, though, is the way it sounds, especially compared to other equivalent modern units that just sound so sanitized and tame. This sounds like a tuner Supra from the 90s, and I mean that in the best possible way. I'm really in love with this engine. It's good at half throttle, even less than that. At full throttle, it's amazing. It's torquey, it's responsive, it revs to 7,000, and if you're careful with it, it isn't even that dear on fuel. I can't get enough of this soundtrack. Open the rear window slightly so that more of the noise can come into the cabin. You're welcome. I don't even have to mention the chassis of this car, because you expect it to be good, and it is. It's comfortable enough, but it's firm, yet it's superbly damped, especially with these adaptive dampers. As for the interior, it looks a bit dated now, but you can't fault its quality and practicality. I have one point of criticism to level at this car, and that's the fact that its brakes are not as powerful as they should be for a car that's this fast. The ones the car comes with are adequate, and that's about it. And if you're thinking of buying one of these and taking it to regular track days, you might want to think about investing in some serious aftermarket brakes. So yeah, my recommendation, if you like this car, you can just go straight out and buy it without even looking at its competitors. but you really need to know what you're getting yourself into. It's not as comfortable as the Mercedes. It's not, as some say, as sharp to drive as the new Alfa Giulia. And the Jaguar XE looks much better from the outside, I think, than this. But if you want an all-in-one vehicle that's really powerful and a serious track weapon, this is your best bet. Yeah, sure, it's a bit expensive, and people will feel like they know you even before they've met you when they see you rolling up in one of these. And, well, you shouldn't care, because it's such a good car and such a complete package that it's hard to not recommend. In the smaller car, it makes 340 horsepower and 500 Newton meters. In the smaller car, it makes 340 horsepower and 500 Nm torque, while in the